I was born in 1979, and in the early 1980s, amongst normal toy cars that I used to play with, I also had quite a lot of these cars that did things, mainly made of plastic. They mainly shot off at great speed into skirting boards, and they would either break the skirting boards or the car itself would break up into bits. However, I've still got a few of these lying about. I thought I would have a quick look today to see if any of them still worked. So there's three I've got in mind that I think I could show you. Let's take a look. Right, so I've had a good rummage and I found four toys which I had as a kid, really young. Some of them have stood the test of time, others not so much. So we'll start with the good one. This is a Kidco key car. Plastic body, metal base, made in 1980. Now I had three of these as a kid. The first two fell to bits because the plastic bodies just broke up. It was a Datsun and then a Firebird. And then we had this one, but by that time I think the reason it survived is because I stopped playing with them quite so much. These are pretty fun. So these are pretty fun, these cars. What happened was, before we go on, you got a key with it. And the key went in the back like that. There's a big spring in the back and the car would fire out. Now this key doesn't work, but I've still got the key from one of the old ones. So let's see how it works. So that just clicks in there like that. Pretty dangerous if you fire that at someone's face. Not that I ever did that, he said. Let's have a look and see it going. So all you do is you squeeze the key and hopefully it should fire off. Oh, good. Yeah, alright, that's pretty good. Yep, we'll give that one 5 out of 5. Yeah, that's how they got smashed to bits, because that's pretty good. The next one is called a trick shot. This is by a company called Buddy L, and it consisted of a car with a friction engine in it, rubber tyres, sparks came out the back at this little mechanism, which you'll see just now. And what happened was there's a kind of spring-loaded cog in here. Let's just see if you can see that. Is that going to focus on that? There we go. And you can see when you pull that trigger, it turns that cog, which then turns this cog. You click it in there like that, it revs it up. Now unfortunately the car engine, I can get it to go on the floor if I push it, but it's not able to rev it up anymore. So you'll just have to take my word for the fact that you rev this up, it's not even really working, and then you press this button and it released it and it fired it out. Quite a strong spring that actually. Buddy L. I think this is quite an innovative toy. I like the sparks, it was quite fun. I remember playing with this, a couple of my friends had one. It was a pretty cool toy, it survived pretty well. It was the mechanism, maybe if I oiled it, it might work. As you can see, it does still work on the floor, it does still produce sparks. Didn't really go very far on the floor because I think if you just had a much stronger spring there, revved it up and had it like, I don't know, some sort of freewheeling mechanism, I don't know, it would have gone a lot further, whereas the friction motor kind of held it back really, because this fired it out quicker than the friction motor could drive the car along the floor, so it tended just to sort of slow itself down. But yeah, pretty cool toy. I think we would give it, it's quite gimmicky, I suppose. The key card kind of more did what it said in the tin, I guess. What will we give it? I think we'll give it a robust 3 out of 10. Made by Buddy L. They made lots of toys back in the early 80s, mainly metal trucks and things like that. They did branch out into these. Also got a Datsun up in the loft where the lights come on, but it doesn't really do much else other than that, so I didn't bother showing that. Yeah, 3 out of 10. And lastly, we have this. So this came in a set of 2. I've lost one. It came with a ramp. The other car was yellow, exactly the same as this. I think it's a pullback motor, is it? Yeah, it's a pullback motor. I'll show you what it does. Hopefully it'll work, rather than me blabbing on about it. Just says made in Hong Kong. Oh, now underneath this gives you a clue. You've got this little lever that says lock or crash. So we're going to put it in crash, of course. Let's see what happens. Do I have to move that down? No. Right, let's see what happens. Yeah, that's what happened. Now, it always used to annoy me that when a car crashes, that isn't what happens. I knew enough to know that that didn't happen. But it is still a pretty cool toy, and you got 2 of them. You got a ramp, and the idea was you're to drive them into each other. I did used to play with it a lot, but it's not very realistic the way it crashes, is it? Euro NCAP of -1. So I think we'll give this 2 out of 5. I had another car that had a rubber front and a sliding section on the front chassis, and when you crashed that into the wall, the chassis compressed and the rubber front kind of buckled. Much more realistic. I did like that one. So that was a lot better, I think. But yeah, still retro fun, so we'll give it 2 out of 5. Next one. Now, I did really love this one as a kid, but unfortunately it's not really working anymore. This is called a glow racer. We'll see in a minute if it still glows. We'll explain how it worked. So you got a car in here, loosely based on Matchbox castings. Can't say that. Porsche 928. Oh, in fact, no, it is Matchbox. Turbo Flash, it's called. Lesney. Oh, it's Lesney. 1982. Plastic body, metal base. What happened was this was held by an elastic band, which as you can see is not really doing it anymore, because it's about 40 years old. You had it clip there. What you did then was you then just put the car in there, then you pressed this button here and it unclipped that. That would shoot forward and shoot the car out at high speed. Obviously that is not working anymore, but I reckon if I got an elastic band for that, which strangely we don't have any in the house, that would work. You can see there it's got some pretty glow racers. Pretty cool thing, but it doesn't work anymore. But based on my memory of it, it did go quite fast, not as good as the key car. So I'd probably give it, for coolness and the fact that it still glows, we'll test that in a minute. Let's assume that it still glows, we'll give it 3 out of 10. I've just put that up to 4 out of 10 because that really does still glow, even the car, look at that. That's decent. No, I'm going to give that 4 out of 10 because that, after all that time, that still works. Yeah, that's pretty cool. 4 out of 10.